In 2018, Badiou published The Immanence of Truths, the final book in a trilogy that took over 30 years to complete. To understand why this book matters, we need to look at the journey that led to it. Badiou's first book, Being an Event, made a bold claim. Mathematics is the language of existence itself. Using set theory, he argues that reality is a chaotic collection of fragments and sudden unpredictable events can break through this chaos to create something new. His second book, Logic of Worlds, examined how things appear to us in specific cultures and historical moments, and how groups of people organize to defend what they believe is true. But after finishing these two massive works, a big question remained. We know what the truth is mathematically, and we know how it appears in the world. But what is the value of a truth? How can an ordinary person achieve something eternal by taking part in a truth process? And how can truth resist the power of global capitalism? To answer these questions, Badiou turns to advanced mathematics, specifically the theory of large cardinals, incredibly massive infinities that help him measure the scale of human achievement. Before we can understand Badiou's solutions, we need to understand what he is fighting against. Badiou believes that modern global civilization is suffering from a deep sickness. He calls this the ideology of finitude, the belief that we are limited creatures living in a limited world. Our society tells us you have a short life, a small brain, and a few resources. Don't dream of absolute truths or eternal revolutions. Those big ideas are dangerous fantasies. Instead, accept your limits, seek personal pleasure, avoid risks, and buy things from the market. Badiou sees this as an attack on the human spirit. It reduces people to smart animals whose only goals are survival and safety. This way of thinking protects the real ruler of our world, global capitalism. Badiou describes capitalism as a shifting monster that turns everything into something that can be bought and sold. Capitalism loves limits because it creates a feeling of scarcity that makes us want to consume more. It breaks apart communities, isolates individuals, and treats people as disposable parts of a money making machine. Art becomes an investment for billionaires. Science becomes technology for corporate profit. Politics becomes managing the economy. Love becomes swiping on dating apps. The immanence of truths is Badiou's rebellion against this system. Humans are not just limited animals, we have the ability to create and experience the infinite. A truth is not a luxury, it is a direct way that the infinite appears inside our limited world, offering us a chance to break our chains. To give his rebellion a solid foundation, Badiou takes us into the history of mathematical infinity. For centuries, philosophers thought infinity was a single vague idea, often linked to God. This changed in the late 1800s when mathematician Georg Cantor proved that infinity comes in different sizes. There are infinities that are strictly larger than other infinities. For example, the infinity of real numbers is much larger than the infinity of counting numbers. In the immanence of truths, Badiou goes beyond Cantor's basic infinities. He explores large cardinals, infinities so massive that their existence cannot be proven using standard math rules. They must be proposed as bold new ideas. These large cardinals have amazing properties. Some are inaccessible, meaning they can't be reached by adding or multiplying smaller infinities. Others have internal mirrors that let them map onto other mathematical systems. Why does a philosopher care about such abstract math? Because Badiou believes that large cardinals provide a scale for measuring human thought. They prove that the universe has no final ceiling. It's infinitely open. By connecting different types of human truths to different sizes of mathematical infinities, he creates a map of human greatness. When a person participates in a truth, they are using their limited brain to interact with structures infinitely larger than market statistics. Let's bring these big ideas down to earth by looking at how a truth actually works in real life. Badiou introduces three key terms: the work, the ensemble, and the intra-locality. A truth appears through concrete creations that Badiou calls work. A work is a concentrated moment of innovation. A political text like the Communist Manifesto, a groundbreaking painting, a scientific discovery like Einstein's equations, or a deep romantic love. A work is physically limited. It is printed on paper, painted on canvas, or lived by specific people. Its inner meaning is infinite. It contains energy that can be revived across centuries and cultures. The ensemble is the total collection of all changes and inventions created by a truth process over time. It is the growing body of a truth as it develops. The intralocality is where truth process checks its own progress, where scientists, artists, or political activists look at what they have done and ask, what should we build next? Through these ideas, Badiou establishes the concept of immanence. A truth isn't transcendent. It doesn't belong to another world or a mystical heaven. A truth is built right here on earth using physical matter and human work. Yet it displays a complexity that is completely infinite. One of the interesting ideas in the book is the concept of omnipotence of truth. When a truth process gets started, it begins to force new connections between things that previously had nothing to do with each other. It overrides official categories and forces ruling powers to face their limits. When Badiou uses omnipotence, he doesn't mean violent dictatorship. He means complete independence from ruling power. A truth is omnipotent because once it is launched, capitalism cannot truly destroy it. The market can put a price on a painting or turn a scientific formula into a gadget, but the inner truth of that art or science remains untouched by money. Truth operates on a different scale. It achieves absolute freedom, proving that human creativity is more powerful than any political empire. Because capitalism is so adaptable, it constantly tries to copy and neutralize the power of human creation. Badiou spends a lot of time showing how true creation differs from fake substitutes produced by corporate culture. In politics, capitalism offers fake choices, elections, opinion polls, and managing the economy. This is a limited politics stuck in minor reforms. True politics is an absolute break with this model. It comes from the margins, rejects profit, and fights for everyone's freedom. In art, capitalism has created a huge industry of spectacle and luxury investment. Artworks are treated like stocks, valued by auction prices and trends. True art creates a new language that shatters expectations. It doesn't care what consumers want. It constructs a new vision of beauty that remains valid for centuries. In science, capitalism favors technology that makes money. It locks research into a new loop of corporate funding. True science pursues pure truth, unconcerned with commercial profit. In love, society promotes apps that treat people like commodities. True love is an adventure that explodes this consumer safety net, a deep connection where two people build a shared life that can never be measured by an algorithm. After all the complex mathematics, Badiou ends with a direct challenge to every person. How will you choose to live? Every person is born as a biological animal. If you follow the path of least resistance, you will chase temporary pleasures, accumulate money, avoid risks, and protect your narrow identity. You will live a limited life, and when your body dies, your memory will fade away. But there is another path. At any moment, you can encounter the traces of an infinite work. You can join a political movement, be worked by a work of art, immerse yourself in scientific discovery, or commit to a deep love. When you pledge loyalty to that infinite process, you undergo a deep change. You break free from your limits and become a true subject. When a person becomes a subject, they touch immortality. This isn't a religious story, it is a material fact of thought. Because when you participate in a truth, your actions are no longer measured by your short lifespan or bank account. You are helping to build a universal reality that is valid across all centuries. You elevate your life to the level of greatness, proving that an ordinary human being can think and create on the scale of mathematical infiniteness.